We ask that you extend our hotel stay until we can safely return to the place we call home. Our mothers shouldn't have to worry a day before Mother's Day if we would have a roof over our head or not.
Ready? Buenas tardes.
Okay.
Me llamo Marcela Ralac. Vivo en el 520 29 Street, San Diego, California, 92102.
Okay. My name is Angelica. I'm Maricela Ralac, and good afternoon. I live at 52029 Street, San Diego, California, 92102.
Vengo a pedirlos, por favor, que si nos pueden extender más tiempo en el hotel.
Okay. And I'm here to ask you if you might be able to extend us and give us more time at the hotel.
Porque lo necesitamos, la casa de nosotros todavía no está listo. Y como le vuelvo a venir a pedir también sobre de las casas,
Okay.
que todavía no está habitable.
Okay. And I'm here because our house is not ready to be lived in. And once again, like I said before, I was here before, you know, the homes, we're not able to live on them yet.
Y también no se puede regresar uno en su casa de uno porque también el canal todavía no han limpiado. Y ahorita...
El canal.
Sí.
Okay. And also, you know, I wanted to let you know, we're not able to go back to the house because the canal is not clean yet.
Ahorita que esperamos que viene otra vez la lluvia, que esperamos que va a volver a pasar otra vez como la última lluvia que hizo un sábado. También a nosotros nos iba a tocar otra vez, el agua se iba a meter otra vez.
Okay, so we're waiting for rain, so the same thing is going to happen. That happened to us on a Saturday, you know, and then the water is going to be coming and, you know, it's going to affect us. Again, we're going to be getting that water.
Y también tomé fotos sobre del canal el día de hoy. Todavía está sucio. Si ustedes quieren que a lo mejor ustedes piensen que estoy mintiendo, tengo fotos y tengo videos para enseñarlos.
I have pictures of that canal. I have them here. You know, I've taken pictures just to show you and to let you know that I'm not lying. And I can show this to you.
Ahora les pido el gran favor que nos escuchan y que nos ayudan de verdad.
Okay.
No solo dicen que sí.
Technical difficulties. Saying no. I think it's because my phone is hot. Like it's just blazing. Won't open nothing. So we'll just have to maintain for a minute. But I can monologue. So the route we just took is from the south, the soft site to one of their drop-off points, which is Irish Trolley Station. And there's tons of taxis and people out there, so we'll do a drive-by. This ain't too far out of my way. Stay in Chula Vista, so everything's pretty close. It's funny because Hawkins Charter School. I'll try to pull over here real quick. Try to fix this. It's just blazing. Can't open anything. Okay, restart phone. That's how we do. This thing's quite hot too. Like, hot to the touch. Let that reset. It's not even that hot. Like, realistic. Kind of. I think it's just because my phone in the sun, and then it was charging. Yeah, not a good combination. This one's charging in the sun too, but not much I could do about that. We are almost reset. Almost.
Speakers connected.
And then well, you heard it. Speaker connected. Thanks. This guy is blazing. It's been in the sun all day. Like, I buy a nice Nikon and it overheats. I buy a little 360 Insta whatever. It runs all the time. Whether it's in the sun, whatever. Come on, YouTube. We were listening to something. Okay, it should be back on.
But as well, we got a little bit extra. We need at least 1 month more minimum to keep
Try to put it over
helping us
here.
for the vow. We need to find a place. We have getting the housing for getting emails on addresses
let's
and
go look at
places
some of that money
they
they
have for rent. But it's the
are
problem is
spending
that
over
we
here.
could find this place on our own. The emails, that addresses, we could find it on the web. It's not like real help. And because they're asking for everything the lady just said, credit, income, it's the same problem. We need like really help, like to put us, I don't know. Look for there. If you want us really to get out of the hotel, please, we need more help, like really help. Yes. That's where
There are some people
we're
right
begging,
here.
and we're not supposed to be begging for this help. Yeah. So please, look for a big or really solution for us, so we don't have to be a problem anymore. And the city, I don't know where's this guy is, but Tall Glory, he's a coward. I don't know why he's not here. He hasn't even had the courage to give at least talk to us.
All right,
and sit-
everybody,
sit
we're
in
gonna
our
switch
table
to our stream.
and he
I'm gonna
could
go home.
talk to us, and so we could tell him our needs for us, the problems that we really have in the hotel. So I'm just asking for a little bit more of extension so we could find a place or go back where we used to live. Thank you.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'd like to invite 5 additional speakers: Lisa Sheffield, Carla Gomez, Gerardo Hernandez, Linda Manzo, and Perla Lopez. If I've called your name, please come forward.
My name is Clarissa Marin, and I have to oppose this. I feel that at the end of the day, we know who's responsible. I think a lot of us support the city finally taking accountability, but let's be realistic, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. And sadly, we were here 2 months ago, and the community is in the same position that they were on March 8th. So not only did the city fail us, you guys did too. You guys failed us because you stepped in when they were not there, when they were not competent enough to execute an incident response or disaster recovery, and they showed us that they didn't care. I mean, it started way before the flood, right? They took all the money that was supposed to take care of my neighborhood that I was born and raised in, and they put it elsewhere. We had to bury people because of what they did. So thank you guys for stepping in and putting the community in a house for 2 months, but everyone is in the same position that they were 2 months ago because you failed us too, because you didn't listen to the community, you didn't listen to our needs, nor did you guys execute a plan yourselves. So now I am begging you to please make it right, because everyone is in the same position that
If it cuts out, just know I'm driving. a couple more minutes. I'm almost home.
Momento 18.
Okay, un momentito. Yeah, my name is Carla Gomez. Good afternoon. I'm one of the people who has been affected, and I live at 4150 National Avenue.
Momento 18.
And the apartment number is 18.
Ok, yo también vengo a pedir una extensión para el hotel y para la comida. La verdad es la primera vez que paso aquí. Yo he estado viniendo con mis vecinos.
Okay, and I'm here because, like everyone else, I'm here to ask for an extension. This is my first time here, and that I come here, you know, I go ahead and visit with the neighbors.
El dueño de nuestro complex, de mí y de mis vecinos, mandó una carta diciendo que de 6 a 10 meses iban a estar los departamentos si yo puedo volver ahí.
Okay.
Entonces, todavía no voy a tener dónde vivir.
Okay, so the owner of the complex did send us a letter explaining that it's going to take 6 to maybe 10 months, you know, for us to be able, you know, to live there. However, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to live.
Y el día que pasó eso, el dueño del complex nos mandó a un refugio. Y desde ahí, pues yo he estado haciendo lo que mis vecinos hacen. Yo soy mamá soltera, mi hijo 18, yo antes tenía una vida, tenía problemas con mi hijo el de 18, el de 13, y desde ese día no he podido trabajar porque la situación que estoy en el hotel, no puedo dejar a mi hijo de 13 años solo.
Un momentito. So basically, the owner of the complex, he did give us a shelter for a while.
One-man show.
But like many of us here, I'm a single mother. I have an 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, you know, and I'm unable to work. You know, I cannot work because who am I going to leave my 13-year-old one with?
Y pues la verdad a mí me daban el voucher de 714, hasta ahorita sé por qué me bajó, porque se supone que nos estaban dando comida y a mí no me han dado nada.
I am getting a voucher for $714 now, and I just I couldn't understand why it went down, because they thought that I was also getting food, but I'm not. I'm not getting any type of food. They didn't give me any of that.
Sí, lo único bueno es que me cambiaron a uno con cocina, entonces yo compré mandado, como era menos, yo compré mandado para poder cocinar, pero igual suenan las alarmas, no es lo mismo estar en un hotel que en tu casa.
However, the only good thing about this is that at the hotel, they gave me one that has a little kitchen, you know, so I'm able to cook, you know, but it's kind of hard because then the alarms go off, you know, because of the cooking.
Los huele a sales, son muchas cosas, y la verdad yo sí quiero que nos den una solución, que nos ayuden, nos pongan en una vivienda para ya no estarnos cambiando, porque no puedo trabajar y no puedo tener y como y más. No quiero ser una carga tampoco para el gobierno.
You know, and as far as the hotel, you know, because it would smell like food and everything, but you know, I really would like to have some type of an answer. You know, I'm really requesting your help, you know, because I'm not able right now, my situation, you know, to work or do anything, you know. However, I also don't want to be a burden for the government or anything like that either.
Yo ahí pagaba 1,550 con biles incluidos y ahorita sí me ayudan, pero me ayudan en una renta de 3,000, 3,300. Yo no puedo irme a un lugar y que me acaben de ayudar y cómo yo me voy a seguir pagando eso.
I was paying $1,550 for my rent, you know, and right now, let's say that they're going to help me, you know, with something that is what, $3,000, $3,200. How am I going to go ahead and make up for the difference? And, you know, if I'm not able to work, or what about the food and all that?
Thank you.
Muchas gracias por toda la ayuda que nos han dado.
However, that's all. And really, thank you for all the help that you provided to us.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Aló, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Pearla López y soy de la Pearla López.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Pearla López. Okay.
Soy de las 6:30 y vengo a pedir más extensión para el hotel por lo que cabe.
Okay. I'm for from 630. And what I'm here for, I would like to go ahead and ask for an extension for the hotel, because look at this.
Lo que es, mi casa todavía no está habitable.
Yes, you can see my house
A
is
mí no
not
me ayudó
livable.
FEMA, a mí no me ayudó BOA, a mí no me está ayudando nadie.
FEMA didn't help me, BOA didn't help me, nobody's helping me at all.
Entonces, ahí falleció mi suegra y mi mamá tiene 76 años y no quiero que vaya a un lugar como está así ahorita.
My mother-in-law passed away there, and I just don't want my mother, to also live in a place that looks just like this.
Y aquí está mi casa. Los invito a que vayan en la tarde a entrar a mi casa y vean que está inhabitable. Nomás les pido que nos den un poquito más de extensión para yo poder terminar mi casa.
Okay, and I invite you over to my house so you can see for yourself that you cannot live on it. And the only thing that I'm asking for is to please give me an extension so my house can be done.
Ahorita todos estamos muy estresados, acaban de ver lo que pasó.
Okay?
No sé qué vaya a pasar más para adelante si no nos extienden el más tiempo. Esto fue poquito a lo que se pueda venir.
And we're all really stressed out. We all know what happened, and who knows what can happen in the future. We don't know what can happen.
Todos estamos muy estresados por toda esta situación. Yo quiero volver a mi vida, como dicen muchas personas, yo no quiero ser una carga para ustedes. Simplemente les pedimos ayuda, a mí que me den tiempo y a las demás personas a terminar, a regresar a nuestro hogar. Los invito a que vayan a mi casa y la vean, y no es mentira lo que les estoy diciendo.
Okay, and I don't want to be in this situation, and also, I want you to come over. I invite you over to my house. I just want to go back to my normal life. Like I said, like many of us have said, I don't want to be a burden for you guys. I just want an extension. I just want a little time so I can go ahead and finish my house.
Gracias por su tiempo y por escucharnos.
And thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'd like to invite 5 additional speakers. Antonio Lopez, Paula Garcia, Ashley Manzano, Roxanne Pacheco, and Brenda Bautista. I've called your name. Please come forward. Ask you to please not interrupt the proceedings. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Linda Manso, and I'm a resident from the Encanto area. I live on Stork and Akins. My apartment always gets flooded every year. It's the exact same thing every year. I'm just wanting to give thanks to you guys for what you have done for us so far. I'm asking for 60-day more of hotel stay. I'm also asking for you guys to make the right decisions on where you guys are sending the money and stuff, because, Equez wasn't good for us. It's been very stressful when we dealt with them. Uber Eats is a waste of money. When you pay for a $10 hamburger, you're paying $20 hamburger. It's money that's just going to trash. It's too expensive. It's expensive to be ordering Uber Eats. I don't know who made that decision. But I just wanted to say thanks. Please give us more 60 days stay for the rest of us staying there. I also want to say that a lot of us that are renters, we need a lot of help. I don't get any welfare or anything like that. So, my husband and I work very well. We manage to make, we live day by day with our paychecks and stuff like that, but we also don't qualify for housing with them. So what do I do in my situation? I'm living with my credit cards right now. I'm in debt now. I'm still paying rent in a home that I'm not living in. I'm afraid I want somewhere to go back home to. So I still continue to pay rent in a place that I'm not living at. And I'm paying out of my pocket fixing this house because the landlord's too old and he's not able to do it. So I'm wasting money out of my pocket. Please help me. Help us.
Next speaker, please.
Are you going to translate it? Translate it? Okay. Sorry.
Okay. ¿Cuál es su nombre? ¿Me puede-
Paula García.
Oh, ¿Paula?
Paula García.
Ok, Paula García. Ok, señora, adelante.
Buenas tardes. Les venía a pedir, por favor, que nos den una atención porque tengo 5 de familia que vivían conmigo.
Sí, okay, good afternoon. I'm here to ask you for an extension. I have 5 people right now that are living with me.
Tengo un hijo que está muy enfermo de años, un hijo especial y una hija.
Okay, I have a son and he's sick. He has special needs. I have a daughter.
Sí, mi hija, y dicen que nos van a echar para afuera. Si ya hay mucha gente que con la economía, ¿cuánta gente está viviendo en la calle?
They're telling us they're going to kick us out, you know, and what are we going to do? You know, just with the economy, the way that things are, people are living out in the street.
Ya están hasta en la TV, vi que están multando a las personas.
¿Cómo?
Que están multando a las personas por que están viviendo ahí, se vuelven a regresar y que porque están las... ¿Qué vamos a hacer nosotros?
They're already giving tickets too, you know, for people that are living there, you know, but they come back. But what are we going to do about it? You know, they're ticketing, you know, they're giving people tickets for living there.
Yo llegué en el 74.
Okay.
Pero eran puras quemazones antes, puras quemazones. Y las pandillas que se venían de la Logan para acá, día y noche, los helicópteros, las patrullas, no podían, era un desastre.
I moved here in 74, and I remember we had the fires, you know, we had the gang members, you know, that were being chased. You know, that's what happened when I was living back here in 74.
Pero ahorita ya son 3 veces, como dicen, la tercera es la vencida, de que ha habido inundaciones y no es justo.
However, this is the 3rd time of the floods. I guess the 3rd time it's it. That's what the saying, you know, that's how the saying goes. You know, this is the 3rd time of this flooding.
Nosotros llegamos en el 74.
We came here in 1974.
Llegamos legalmente.
We came here legally.
Mi hija de 10 y 11 años comenzaron a trabajar de esa edad. Todo le echamos para adelante como nos enseñaron nuestros padres a trabajar, no a vivir de la gente.
And even my daughter, who back then was 11 years old, she started to work back when she was 11, you know, not like living out of anyone. You know, we started to work here since we arrived.
Tengo 8 hijos.
I have 8 children.
Pero nomás están 5 conmigo.
But with me, I only have 5 that are with me.
Pero en el 74 fueron casi 15 años de pasar muchas hambres, fríos.
Okay.
Yo no sabía eso que dicen de hora del welfare porque nos enseñaron a trabajar.
And like I said, you know, I came here in 74, you know, 15 years I worked. I mean, I had to put up, you know, I was hungry, you know, I was cold. I had no clue. I had no idea what welfare, because we were raised, you know, they taught us that we needed to work.
Este señor, gracias a sus hijos del Señor,
But for this man, his children, thank his...
el agua ya me llegaba hasta aquí. A ellos cuando nos subieron al techo duran como 4 horas, no venían ni helicópteros, nada.
Okay.
Y a ellos ya les llegaba y a mi nieto aquí.
Okay, I remember, you know, thank for that, you know, the man and his son.
Gracias a él, Señor,
because
que nos subieron, a 6 personas o 7 nos subieron al techo.
You know, the water was up to here in our place, you know, and I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 people, they went and grabbed us and, you know, they put us in the roof.
Yo tengo muchas enfermedades del corazón y de otras cosas, pero ya esta ansiedad que me entró por...
Okay. I do have problems with my heart, but this
por lo que
anxiety,
pasó,
because of what happened.
Los pisos están ya todos deshechos.
Thank you. Your time is up.
And the floors, they're all ruined.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Ella, porque ella sabe inglés.
Okay. Okay.
¿Está bien? Can you help her to her?
¿Dónde está?
Anywhere. Yes. All right, thank you. Okay, I'm Ashley Manzano. Please extend our hotels or put pressure on the city to extend. We'll be homeless after the extension date. We're homeowners on Beta Street in Shelltown. My family broke their backs as kids, and my grandparents for the home we call a safe haven. Unfortunately, my household has a tough case on our hands. With my uncle having mental illness and being schizophrenic, my uncle has been wearing the same clothes since
That's what you guys.
Pues aquí venimos de nuevo, lamentablemente nosotros seguimos estando en el hotel, seguimos estando batallando, metiendo aplicaciones. Lamentablemente ahorita las solicitudes de las que estamos metiendo han estado tan exigentes en las cuales alguna la propiedad se llama Leonero, propiedad de Leonero.
Okay, the name of the property is Property Leonero.
Y esa propiedad me estuvo pidiendo todos los documentos que se exigen para poder rentar.
And of course, the people of the property ask me for all the documents that are necessary, when one wants to rent.
Entonces ellos fueron a revisar la propiedad donde yo vivía antiguamente para verificar que realmente me dicen también que tengo que tener tres cantidades superiores al costo de la renta, pero tengo que tener. Y también me dicen que tienen que checar a mis miembros de mis hijos para que puedan acceder a la solicitud y para que yo pueda ingresar a la propiedad. En otras que he metido también me piden $25 por cada niño para usar el agua. También el estacionamiento, la luz. $25 por cada niño para usar el agua.
Okay. And other ones that I've applied to, they ask me $25 per kid, so I can use the water.
También el estacionamiento, la luz que se va a usar también se tiene que agregar $10 más por cada niño.
¿Y el estacionamiento también?
Sí.
Okay,
sí.
Also for $10 because of the electricity per child. Also, I have to pay for the parking.
También el storage.
Oh, and also the storage.
Y si vamos a usar la alberca son $20 por cada niño.
Also, if we have to use the pool, that's $20 per child.
Y el costo es de $2,600 por dos sí.
And it's $2,600 a month for two rooms.
Entonces, así constantemente hemos estado batallando por cada propiedad que hemos ingresado la solicitud.
So has been happening. We've been struggling. Each place that, we show an application, we struggle. It's always like this.
Y los costos varían. Hay de $75 por cada aplicación hasta la más barata, que es $35 que he pagado.
And also the application fee, $75. I think the cheapest one that I paid for has been $35.
Entonces, pues, necesitamos más extensión en el hotel porque no he sido aceptada. Gracias.
Basically, I need an extension for the hotel because I have not been accepted.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Samuel Choi with Alliance San Diego. Thank you, Board of Supervisors and staff, for stepping up following the catastrophic floods in January. We're here to ask the board to provide more flexibility to the lodging program. Simply not enough time to place people into permanent housing, as the region is still in the middle of a housing affordability and homelessness crisis. Currently, only a small number of households have been placed into housing by the San Diego Housing Commission, partly because of low vacancy rates, record high cost of rent, and the high barriers in the rent application process, as many of the residents here today attested to. In light of this, we urge you to amend the proposal to allow the housing authorities to flexibly spend the money so that it can cover the temporary lodging with the $4.6 million while they work through placing individuals in adequate housing. We're grateful that our county government has acted swiftly to protect the basic human rights and uplift the dignity of our community members during the disaster. We really need a real plan, and we need your continued leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Maritza Franco. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Maritza Franco.
Good afternoon. My name is Maritza Franco.
Han pasado 3 meses, 8 días de la negligencia que arruinó nuestra vida, donde perdimos absolutamente todo.
3 months and 8 days have gone by since everything got ruined and we lost everything.
El 11 de mayo es el último día que nos dieron en el hotel y terminaremos en la calle.
The last day the hotel had told us to stay there is May the 11th. After that, we're going to be out in the street.
Con todo respeto, pueden tener un poco de empatía con nosotros y por lo menos darnos 60 días para poder encontrar un nuevo hogar. Es tan difícil, no están en nuestros zapatos, no saben qué tan difícil es.
Okay, with all due respect, we would like to have an extra 60 days from us. You're not in our shoes. You don't know what we're going through.
Tengo una mascota, un perro y un gato que son para que mi hijo esté bien. Sufre de ansiedad, de estrés.
I also have 2 pets, a dog and a cat, and this is for my son because he suffers from stress, anxiety.
Eso me hace más difícil que me puedan rentar. No los voy a abandonar.
Okay, and that makes it harder for me, for people that, to rent from people, but I'm not going to abandon, I'm not going to leave them.
Entonces les pido que tengan un poquito de empatía, se pongan un día en los zapatos de todos los que sufrimos esto.
I ask you to have some empathy. I would like you to just put yourselves in our shoes as far as what we're going through.
Somos personas que trabajamos, que teníamos nuestras cosas.
We're people who work. We used to have our things.
Lo perdimos todo.
And we lost everything.
Ya perdimos hasta la dignidad.
We've even lost our dignity.
Entonces, si ustedes pudieran tener un poquito de apoyo para nosotros.
If you could just please have just a little tiny bit of support for us.
Por los niños, por las personas adultas que están enfermas.
For children, for the elderly, those who are sick.
Por nosotros que todavía tenemos fuerzas, por favor les pedimos que se pongan un día en nuestros zapatos.
And for us that we still have the strength, we ask you just for one day, just put yourselves in our shoes.
Y pues quiero agradecer que lo mucho o poco que nos han dado, pues se los agradezco de corazón.
But I do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the little that you have given to us. I'm really grateful and thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, I'm Kevin Godinez. I'm a South Crest former resident, flood victim, and current high school student. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you very much for giving us 2 months to stay in a hotel, but I plead you that you give us more time. My family isn't just ready to transition to a home. Please, at least 60 days is what we need. I'm saddened to say that I missed school because of this. I missed on my education because of the fear and worry of not knowing where my family are going to stay. The negligence that us victims are experiencing, it's cruel, it's inhumane. The resources you guys are giving us for housing, it's appreciated, but it's useless. I've been spending all night trying to look for the same apartments, houses, and what we need is a secure place where we don't have to worry about application fees, making 10 million, we need reassurance and safety. You say we're flood survivors, but it feels like we're still trying to survive the negligence of the city, county, and the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hola, mi nombre es Jenny Bello. Vengo de
Okay, hello, my name is
Jenny Bello.
Jenny Bello, okay.
Vengo de Happy Hollow Trailer Park. Gracias, primero que nada, por todo el
Happy
soporte.
Hollow?
Happy Hollow Trailer Park.
Okay, and I come here from Happy Hollow
Trailer Park.
Trailer Park.
Gracias por todo el soporte que han dado todo este tiempo, porque tenemos un techo donde no va a llover y una cama donde descansar.
Thank you for all the support that you've given to us. You know, we have a roof over our heads, you know, and we have a bed that we can sleep on.
Gracias por todo eso.
And thank you for all that.
Nuestra situación es un poquito difícil ya que somos propietarios de nuestras casitas.
And our situation is a little different, you know, because we're, you know, homeowners of our little houses. We own our little homes.
Pero estamos en el hotel, pero tenemos que seguir pagando la renta del espacio desde el día 1.
Okay, de la casa.
Sí, del espacio donde está nuestra casa.
Okay, so we're staying at the hotel. However, what we have to pay for is the space, you know, for usted vive en una casa of the trailer houses that we own. We still have to pay for that space.
La señora Nora sabe de lo que me refiero. Ella nos visitó una vez.
And Miss Nora knows what I'm talking about because she came over to visit us once.
En el momento que estaba más difícil todo.
At the moment where everything was a lot more difficult.
So, por eso la petición queremos, todavía nuestras casitas no están listas, sobre todo para los niños, estar around todo lo construcción, todo.
So we're really asking for a little bit of time because our little houses, they're not ready yet, you know, and our kids will not be ready to go because everything is like under construction still.
No es seguro para los niños porque también no tenemos un espacio, un patio donde los niños puedan jugar.
And it is not safe for the kids because we don't have a patio, we don't have a backyard where they can play.
Y por lo menos necesitamos unos 60 días para poder terminar lo más posible.
And I think at least we need 60 days so we can just finish as much as we can.
Gracias por lo Uber Eats que dieron, por lo menos no nos preocupamos en comer.
Thank you for the Uber Eats that you gave us. At least we didn't have to worry about eating.
Pero sí, lo mencionó alguien, es muy caro. Por ejemplo, 3 tortas, $60. Yo con $60 como 3 días, almuerzo, comida y cena.
Yeah, but you know, everything is so expensive. 3 tortas are $60. So I have to go ahead and make ends meet, and I have to save that, and I have to save it for 3 days so I can eat with that for 3 days.
Pero muchas gracias por eso y gracias también por todo lo que están haciendo. Sí se valora, no nos juzguen a todos por igual. Realmente estamos agradecidos por lo que han hecho.
I do want to thank you all for everything that you've done. You know, we value that, you know, so please don't judge all of us, you know, because we really, really appreciate it.
Estamos todos bajo estrés, preocupación y no sabemos el día de mañana. Nuestra vida está en pausa desde el día enero 22. Y no sabemos el día de mañana. Nuestra vida está en pausa desde el día enero 22.
And we're all stressed out. We're always worrying. You know, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, it's kind of like our lives are like stopped because, you know, we don't know when this is going to end.
Y pues nada más, eso es todo. Quería agradecerle a todos y por lo menos 60 días más para poder estar. Somos gente trabajadora y podemos pagar nuestra renta, solo necesitamos otros 60 días más.
Okay, and that's all that I have to say. We just ask you for 60 days. We're really hardworking people, you know. We're able to pay for our rent. We just need that extra time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As the next speaker is coming forward, a final call for Antonio Lopez and Maria Martinez.
This is all a show to get trust back from the public. I know how you're going to vote. And I said that Nora was the numero uno mentirosa.
Can you please state your name?
Consuelo. I've said it plenty and I'll say it again. We continue to pay for our own enslavement via taxes, complying with their laws and protocols. They set it for them, not us. The problem isn't a lack of money, food, water, or land. The problem is that we've given control over to a group of greedy psychopaths like Gloria and this board, who care more about maintaining their power than helping their constituents. To you who are exhausted of clocking in and out of work tirelessly and only get a couple days off, reminder, you're not tired of work, you're tired of being exploited by government to have to work to live. The only species that works to live on the planet, by the way. The most wealthiest government in history has its own people struggle daily. It's sick and twisted how government governs. Government is not your friend. Government is beyond abusive and will continue to get away with what we allow for them to get away with. It's often said on social media, especially by people on the right, the conservatives, let's not forget what they did to us. Well, I'm here to say to the right and left, let's not forget what we've allowed government to get away with. Let's not forget who keeps perpetuating all the wrongdoing by government. We continue allowing for government to misbehave and act reckless with our lives and our hard-earned money. I know the pattern. I know how this board will vote. I know why Gloria isn't here. How? Because myself and a handful of others are paying attention to this corrupt board. Unfortunately, it takes some people only to get involved when politics when the boot is directly on their face. Not sure exactly why this board keeps continuing to be thanked by so many speakers. Actually, what am I saying? I totally understand.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. Consuelo, you're disrupting the meeting. This is your third warning, Consuelo. Consuelo, you're disrupting the meeting. Consuelo, you're disrupting the meeting. That's your third warning. The chairwoman has indicated that you need to remove.
Oh my God, my third warning. I just got here. Mentirosa. Oh my God.
Come on, why are you calling our people liars too?
No, she's a fucking liar. Our people. No, I said.
Consuelo, ask you to please leave the chamber.
You guys come here to
Consuelo, ask you to please leave the chamber. If we can have order in the chamber, please. The board is going to take a 2-minute recess. We're going to take a 2-minute recess.
Thank you to all you people who are watching.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
There are 240 approximately on the county's YouTube website.
We are in a recess now. When the board comes back into session, if the audience does not follow the rules, we will have to do what we did this morning, where everybody will have to leave the chamber. We'll have to call you in one by one.
After a half hour. So, thank you all for being here with us. They let the union go on and cheer and chant for a half hour without giving a warning to anyone. If it weren't for double standards, these people would have none at all on that board up there. our friends.
I said it's sad because you shouldn't have to beg. It shouldn't be something that you have to beg for. It's sad. And everyone takes it the wrong way. They like turn on us for supporting them and saying that they shouldn't have to do that. It's sad.
Been holding this for hours. Yeah, I should get one. Held this thing up for like 4 hours today. It's fine. I got it. These meetings are never boring. Yeah. Seems like she really needs to.
Oh yeah, this is the day she can't speak of all days.
The one day Nora can't speak. Seems like 2 minutes is up.
Thank you. We'll now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. We'll begin with our first caller. Thank you. We'll now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. We'll begin with our first caller.
Hi, supervisors. A long presentation usually means bad news. Money you got and don't spend. Yes, Mr. Banks, money in their pockets. People are suffering from the fact of the winter storms, and it is your responsibility, along with the cities that neglected needed maintenance work. These people deserve to return to their houses ASAP. But if they cannot, you need to continue the hotel vouchers or whatever help they had, and in the same place. You did a damage assessment the week after June began disaster relief. 3 weeks late. FEMA relief is still up in the air for thousands. Glad community and county organizations helped the right away, but the county itself should not leave 644 of our best still in temporary lodging program. We want all individuals, children, school people, parents, and grandparents to be made whole, not homeless. These people should bill you for unnecessary charges, by the way. You are continuing the emergency. Do not shirk your responsibility or allow anyone else to. Do not encourage them by ending the temporary lodging program, and don't do it. Thanks.
Thank you. And for the record, the speaker is Paul Bald. I'll hear from the next caller.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Kathleen Lippett. As a taxpayer and owner of city properties, it was difficult to watch the catastrophic damage that could have been prevented had the city been doing preventative and ongoing infrastructure maintenance as they were responsible to do. The city allowed all but 4 of their 200 city flood channels to be clogged with debris. Community residents had called for years requesting that those flood channels be cleared. They were not. Those calls were ignored. There should be consequences for misdirecting or misappropriating tax dollars. City electeds redirected funds instead that was meant for infrastructure and maintenance to community priority that should have been directed to community priorities, parks, streets, repairs, youth centers. Instead, they redirected them to their pet projects, empty bike lanes, empty public buses, electrical energy transition, making driving personal vehicles as difficult as they possibly could with their zero carbon policy mandates. They are impoverishing residents with the highest energy bills in the country, the highest food costs, and increased food scarcity. Trying to force the public out of low-cost, dependable gas vehicles into costly electric vehicles is not the job of city electeds. The public is being impacted today, not 1,000 years from now. We will all be dead then. The city should have consequences for its failure to use city funds properly. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hello, Kevin Stevenson. I am in favor of extending the deadline. People should not be pushed onto the streets. People need somewhere to live. The floods on January 2nd were devastating, and it's been a tough time for everyone affected by the floods. And it's disappointing to hear that some people would like to use this very urgent matter, this time of the essence moment, to virtue signal about how the government is seeking to control everyone's lives. I find that morally reprehensible. I think that's a great distraction from the problem at hand. And so I am going to remain on topic, and I'm calling on the board to extend the deadline past May 11th, allow people to stay in these hotels as long as they need to, because I can't even begin to imagine how much debt people are being forced into because of what happened on January 22nd. That is a disaster that shouldn't have happened. The city of San Diego should have been able to prevent the extent of the damage, but they didn't. They sat on their hands, and now they have a problem to clean up. So while I would encourage the county to vote in favor of extending the deadline, I also think that the city of San Diego needs to get their ass in gear and do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. And now hear from the next caller.
It's true, there were no severe storms, there was no severe atmospheric river, there was no 1,000-year storm, all lie. This was a storm of negligence. The county needs to sue the city of San Diego for all expenses, and the city is hoping to buy up people's homes so they can supposedly widen the channel. These survivors have been pushed out by the city, then pushed out by the county into FEMA, pushed to the point that a few of them were emotionally defeated into believing the lie that the city that neglected their broken promise zone is suddenly going to do the right thing with yet another tax. Predatory politicians go on TV with their press conferences or county meetings to capitalize on the trauma, whether that's Howard Todd, Slush Fund Jose, or Schadenfreude Sean, who said at San Diegans are narrow-minded.
It often has stood in San Diego's way is San Diego, pushed San Diego to stop being the provincial, past-focused place that it can often be.
And the excuse on this item was that this was the first time the county used hotels as shelters. What a pathetic excuse to have a mismanagement disaster like Equus kicking people out of their crummy hotels without notice. Equus needs to be sued too to recoup all of these county losses and to also provide damages to the survivors. I don't like the county bailing out any city's failures, but this is a last resort, and a few million is a drop in the bucket compared to how much is going to aiding and abetting illegal immigration. These survivors being forcibly moved from hotel to hotel, are they not American migrants in need? Do they not deserve more than $20 million being legal taxpayers? The only concern is the future budget being eaten up by another $5 million. But does everybody know this?
City council reps asked the mayor's office to fund a capital improvement plan to address drain fixes along Beta Street in 2020 and in 2021. That wasn't one of the So the request was also made recently as this past September. Council member Vivian Moreno asked for $350,000 to quote upgrade and add.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on this item. On behalf of the Chairwoman, I'll turn it over to Supervisor Montgomery Stepp.
Thank you very much, Clerk. Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. Let me go through a list of thank yous. I do want to thank you, Sarah, county staff, the 300 or more employees that have been on the ground during this entire time, and all of the phone calls, everything, countless hours, trying to do the best that we can for our community. I will be, the first to say that it has not been perfect, but I think that our hearts were in a place of trying to make sure that our community members had a place to stay and food to eat, and our decisions, I think, have reflected that thus far. I want to thank all the council members over at the City of San Diego that have been on the ground during this effort. Council President Sean Elo Rivera was here. Councilmember Moreno, Councilmember Foster, who was not council member at the time, but was on the ground almost every single day. Thank you for your efforts in all of this, and all of City of San Diego employees that are working behind the scenes, which I'll get to that a little bit later, in addition to the Housing Commission employees. Nonprofit organizations that stepped up in the very beginning, day one, thank you for what you did. We would not be able to have done what we did in the way we did it if not for your efforts to just take care of the community. No questions asked. And I just want to address the community members, all who are suffering through all of this and who have come here today. I heard some things that I want to correct. I can speak for myself. I'm not judging you. I heard that. I also heard, I will show you the paperwork if you think I'm lying. I don't think you're lying. I don't think you're lying. I heard, I don't want to be a problem. I don't want to be a burden. And you're not. And so just wanting to, from my heart, address those, because I cannot say I know exactly how you feel, but I can say I don't want you to feel in that way. And so I want to go into this a little bit because I haven't done it. I've been asked by community members to not speak publicly about some of the interactions that we have had to have behind the scenes with each other, agency to agency. And I have abided by that because I didn't want to add trauma on top of what was already going on. But I have to tell you that just as the presentation showed, county staff has been working with city staff. March 15th, after we made the decision to allot $10 million additional dollars out of our reserve as a county, which I think we were probably one of the first in the nation to really go into reserve for this effort. After we made that decision, the CAO sent a letter over to the city of San Diego saying this program will be over May 11th. So all of this narrative about we didn't know that's not true. And then on top of that, there was correspondence again to the city on or about April 14th saying you need to dedicate at least 40 staff members to this for case management because every situation is different. We have heard that today. We have heard that today, that it's not just about the housing. There are extenuating circumstances that are specific and unique to each individual household. And we were trying to prepare for that May 11th date. And I have to say that because it has not, I want county staff to know that I understand what they have done. And I need for community members and the public and whoever is listening to know that we acknowledge this has not been perfect, but people have been working day and night. None of us want to see anyone without a home, much less those who have lost everything in a matter of hours. So we have been trying to transition as a county, but we need partners. We need partners because there's just certain decisions this board will never be able to vote on. If a city is incorporated, there's certain jurisdiction that they have, and there's also certain responsibility that they have. And I'm saying this having served on both sides, having been through the budget process over at the city and advocating for this storm drain channel maintenance as well. So understanding all of those issues, I just wanted to make that clear that we have taken over a bit more responsibility. We've done it willingly. We've done it with 4 votes every time, but it could have been different. And what I hope for is a true partnership. A partnership means you come to the table with something for your people. And that has not happened yet. So I want to, with all that being said, understanding with the desire really to be completely honest, coming here today was to really try for that transition to happen as we stated back in March, that this would be over May 11th. But it has been hard. You have seen us, listening to you and really taking in what you are telling us. And so for that reason, I am going to move the county recommendations with one caveat. I know there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I'd want to add to that an extension of this program for 6 weeks.
Second.
And I have a second. I want to add to that extension for 6 weeks. Let me just say this. Everything that I heard today, I don't know if it'll be resolved in 6 weeks. So it is time to not rest on that, but to amp up this transition. Because I can say it will probably, if it passes today, it probably won't go past that. And that I just want to manage that expectation because we have to work on that transition in a real way from here on out. I also, included in those recommendations, I just want to modify number 3 briefly to make that funding towards the housing commissions, the separate cities, still a bit flexible. And so I will read item number 3 in the way that I'm thinking about changing it and adding it to this motion, modifying what's in the board letter. Number 3, to provide direction for supporting local housing authorities by establishing appropriations of $4.6 million in the Office of Emergency Services and Supplies from the General Fund Reserve, to provide funding to the San Diego Housing Commission, National City Housing Authority, and City of Oceanside Housing Authority. Funding to the housing authorities would provide financial assistance to households transitioning out of ETL into permanent housing for residents within their respective housing authority jurisdiction, and would require, here's where I wanted to change, a written commitment from the housing authorities and commissions and their respective, and would require a written commitment from the cities and their respective housing authorities to demonstrate they will or have provided matching resources equal to county contribution of either financial assistance or in-kind services dedicated to assisting January 22nd flood survivors. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas would like me to read her statement at this time. Her statement is coming up on the screen, and it reads, "The tragic impact of the January 22nd flood has touched us all, and in particular, those of us who have worked tirelessly over the years for the betterment of our communities of color, emphasizing the importance of investing in our communities through the lens of equity. That is why we advocated that the County of San Diego take the unprecedented step to provide emergency temporary housing, and then built upon that original action to extend the time frame of the emergency temporary housing and provide food options for those in the county program. This has not been done before here in the region for disaster. I'm grateful for the support of my colleagues in allocating nearly $20 million to this effort, and to the over 300 county team members who have stepped up to help their community members in their hour of need. With the support of our county team, we will ensure that those who need continued assistance are being given the tools they need to rebuild. We will continue to support our communities." And with that, the chairwoman had indicated she would like to support the recommendations from staff, with Supervisor Montgomery Stepp's amendments to second the motion by Supervisor Desmond. Seconded. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Supervisor Desmond.
Well, thank you, Chair, and Monica, for your words. It's true that a lot of people are trying to work on this and to get things done, and we have to acknowledge and recognize them. But people in the audience, you shouldn't have to be here today. You really shouldn't have to be here. You should be with your family, with your pets, with your kids. You should be. This is, to have to come and beg, this is just degrading. So, I'm supporting the extension, and I think it puts to the county about $30 million if I'm doing the math correctly, it's $30 million. But I keep hearing, this is caused by a flood. And one of the callers, it wasn't a flood. It was negligence. It was negligence on your neighborhood. It was negligence on you. So one of the things that really, 'cause I came to this meeting going to be supporting the staff's recommendation, but primarily because the city hasn't put anything in the game. The city hasn't done anything for you. And you're in their jurisdiction. And so know that this is coming from our hearts. And that, you got to me. But you shouldn't have to be here to do that. One of the things that the mayor, in his draft budget, has got $0 for you in the next draft budget. So, last time I said it, you should vote the guy out of office, and I think you should do it again. So, sorry, Chair. Okay, so I want to thank and commend our interim CAO, Sarah, and the county staff in the manner they communicated with the city, and in light of their lack of leadership at the city, the willingness to support your residents here for this issue. So I'm really sorry that you had to come here and do this. Hopefully we can get this resolved. Hopefully we can get in 6 weeks, but I really think put this, hopefully you're giving the same passion and same talk to your representatives at the city, and they're feeling it, because I can't believe they can just let you hang out there and be in the situation that you're in. So good luck. Thanks.
Vice. Again, we'll ask you to please refrain from clapping. Vice Chair Lawson-Remer.
Sure. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for coming and sharing your stories. And this is not right. It's not right. And it's not right that there was such a huge failure of investments in our community, and you've been left, to suffer. And I'm very happy we have been able to step forward. I'm happy to support sort of the additional extension suggested by my colleague. But I also want to echo what my other colleague, Supervisor Desmond, said, which is this is $30 million that we're supposed to be spending on things like behavioral health, mental health treatment. We've got a lot of folks that are really in need of those kinds of services, and we're, now being asked to step up, and I'm happy to do it. I think you guys need it and you deserve it, but it's not right. I'm not happy that we're in this position today. I think we need to do a lot better in the future to make the investments on the front end, to make sure that we don't have entire regions of our cities and counties that are just flooding because we haven't built the streets and the stormwater repair that we should have been doing for decades and decades. I was actually taking a look at some of the past reports, and it's been going back like 30, 40 years of reports saying that this was a flood zone and needed more infrastructure investment, and nobody stepped up, and it hasn't happened. And now it's not a surprise. It's just an unfair and terribly unfair tragedy that you all are dealing with. So happy to support this today. And, we have reserves, and they're supposed to be here for real emergencies, for rainy days. This is definitely a rainy day. It was a very rainy day. So, I think that's what we're here for. But we really need to be clear that, 6 weeks is 6 weeks. We can't be coming back. We got to create another plan. And so I really hope that these other investments that we're making in terms of transitioning folks to get into longer term housing solutions can help make sure that 6 weeks really is going to be enough time and enough runway to get people a roof over their heads, because this, like I said, we can't be cutting our behavioral health investments and mental health and addiction treatment. So anyway, there's a lot to say, but I am so sorry for everything everyone's going through, and my heart goes out to you, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. Thank you.
Supervisor Anderson.
I just have a couple quick questions. Just for the record, Sarah, how many of the flood victims actually are our purview, that we have authority over, that they're our responsibility?
Supervisor.
I'll ask you next, but I'm asking Sarah now.
It is 6%, and if you'd like the total, I
well, the point though is, when my district burned down,
yes,
the county failed to do anything for us. That was a different board, a different time. Most of you are not in our districts. You're in our district, but you're not our purview. We don't control your land use. We don't fix your gullies. We don't clean out your gutters. That's the city, not us. So I just want to point that out, because we're trying to be kind, and we say, well, we should have done this. Well, actually, Kara, we did do it. That's why we have so few of the problems, because if you were to look at the floods, the last time we had a flood, Spring Valley was at the top of the list. It's not on the top of the list today. Yes, I'm so sorry for the 40 families that were impacted or so, but it wasn't hundreds. And this is why we have to be observant when you're looking at elected officials. Are they preparing for your future, or are they just making you happy today? This is complicated stuff. I'm happy to support it today, but I want to make sure that people understand we're being good neighbors, because none of my district's been impacted, but I assure you before the year's out, we're going to have fires in my district, and I'm going to want that same help. And it'll be very disappointing if we have to say we don't have any money because you gave it to the city of San Diego and they failed to fix one thing, when we're working so hard and investing such money in infrastructure. And I want to say kudos to my colleagues and to our previous chair, because he was part of the solution of making the county much more responsive to their constituents, our constituents. So with that, I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. We'll turn it back to our CIO.
Thank you so much. We do need the appropriation of the $9 million for the additional 6 weeks. That would take us to June 21st is the end date. So I'm assuming that Supervisor Montgomery's step is part of your motion.
Yes, that is part of the motion.
Thank you. With that noted, we have a motion by Supervisor Montgomery Stepp, seconded by Supervisor Desmond. Please vote. Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye. Next item on the agenda for discussion is item 29, reconsideration of ensuring continued access to medication-based abortion treatment for San Diegans. Agenda item 21 from April 9th, 2024. I would like to note that this item is a reconsideration of an item that came before the board on April 9th, 2024. Under the board's rules of procedure, following public comment, the board will consider a motion to approve the reconsideration, which is recommendation 1 in the board letter. If there is a motion second and it is approved by majority vote, then the board may consider the remainder of the recommendations 2 through 4. At this time, we'll begin with public comment. We have 15 requests to speak on this item, 6 in person, 9 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak on item 29 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, starting with the speaker in favor, followed by the speakers in opposition. I'd like to invite forward Michelle Krug. And Michelle will be followed by the speakers in opposition, Mark, allegedly Audra, Paul, Pam, Brian Rumbaugh, and Gambler. I've called your name. Please come forward. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'll ask you to state your name for the audio record.
All right, still Brian Rumbaugh. So we're talking about pretty much RU 486, right? Is that right? The abortion one? That's right. You know, when I look at this society, and I really do see, you know, kind of the prevalence of abortion. Make no mistake, I am pro-choice. I have said that in front of this board before. But I'm certainly not pro-abortion. I know that that's one of these issues that it's, you know, choose a side and die on it. That's that divide and conquer that Consuelo seems to, you know, always get herself kicked out of here for. But it pains my heart that we live in a society where that is exactly, you know, how we treat each other. We were given very simple instructions: be fruitful, multiply. Okay, I mean, I can talk about being fruitful. I can talk about, you know, I was just in the hallway there talking about how, you know, that beating that you guys just took, and I'm glad you extended for those people, Jim. That was a tough situation, the last item. Okay, I do appreciate that. But more or less, if we would have handled things in a little bit of a quicker way, as opposed to wait for that FEMA guy to come in and declare those unlivable, then we wouldn't have had to have even gone through that. In other words, society taking care of it, being our brother's keeper. have a big problem when we've got, over the last 49 years, the statistic that I saw less than a week ago, 60 million babies that have been aborted. You know, we can talk about, you know, marriage, sex out of wedlock. We can talk about rape. We can talk about incest. But, you know, all in all, these are, once again, societal problems. Government can't legislate morality.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Pam, big fat no on this. Tara, you continue to push the agenda of killing more babies through every and any abortion method. Nora and Monica claim to help marginalized communities of color, but ignore the most vulnerable, babies being killed by abortion in those communities. Over 1 million total abortions were provided through the U.S. healthcare system in 2023, 1 million. Those are just the ones Planned Parenthood counted. This county continues to devalue humanity and dehumanize women. Tara and Nora, along with Nathan Fletcher, you changed the definition of a woman to include men. Since this agenda item is about the over-the-counter abortion pill without a prescription needed, let's seriously look at this issue through your agenda of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know Dr. McDonald will not respond to me, but perhaps Tara and Nora, you could ask him to address the data and science, the safety studies of the use of the abortion pill in transgender women. What is the mechanism of action of this pill? What is the effect on the body of a transgender woman? And from what body orifice is the destroyed embryonic or fetal tissue expelled? We all know the answer. Men are not and can never be women. But given the mental disorder or the sexual fetish of men pretending to be women, there must be the consideration of their use of the over-the-counter abortion pill and any adverse effect that can occur. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Well, some of you are complicit in the falsehoods and the disinformation of the moment. And will the abortive tissue be filtered in the region's pure water program, making it drinking water? Will abortive tissue be filtered out along with the wastewater? Who's going to drink that water? God places special value on human life in every stage of development and need. Take a stand and vote no.
Next speaker, please.
My person uses the name Audra. It's sad that we can sit here and determine which lives are more important over others. That children can be ripped apart limb by limb in the womb. And that's called reproductive health care. There's a problem in society because it's like you act like, you know, people have the right to life. And someone can determine whether one is more valuable than another. And it's sad because it's like, that shouldn't be things that you guys decide. And like the spark of life happens at conception. It's a beautiful thing. And we call these, you know, children just clumps of cells, right? So it's okay if we rip them apart limb by limb or just don't give them a chance to flourish. I mean, people even want children or 18-year-olds to be aborted as well. And we can do it outside of the womb. That's murder. But as long as we call it reproductive health care, right, you can put it under a term where it's like, it's okay to murder people. It's really sad to see where society has gone. And like, it's nice that you guys gave him 6 more weeks, but you could have done better. People shouldn't have to beg for help. But they do. And you guys aren't the ones begging for help. But you do reap what you sow. And you will have to face our Maker. And hopefully he doesn't say, turn away from me, I know.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I heard my name, but I
Yes, Michelle, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle Krug. I actually really want to thank you for taking this position of protecting women's lives, whether they're clearly from California or elsewhere, that we need this opportunity. What's going on in our country is crazy, and we need to have safe harbors and safe space, and I'm really proud of San Diego County for taking this stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Final call for Gambler or Mark.
World is very crazy right now.
I'll ask you to please state your name.
Gambler here. Whoops, wrong one. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Here we go. This is a better one. Let the school system parent your children right from the birth. Make them ill, feed them pills, confuse them about what's real. Tell them facts don't really matter, it's all about how you feel. Science and math are racist, history let's erase it. Indoctrinate a whole generation, you can't escape it. It's bigger than American politics, you're an accomplice. White people racist and bigots, and you're a colonist. If you want freedom with the courage to do the opposite, it's toxic masculinity. I bet you that is happening at every single homeless facility. Why don't you look into it, Michaelville? Why won't you look into people helping out the homeless, re-registering them, and voting for them? Why won't you look into that, Michael? Please, can you please look into it and look for the fraud?
Justin, I'm going to ask you to please stay on topic. This is item 29. Please stay on topic.
Okay. You guys were elected illegally?
Children that men can't get pregnant.
She went ahead and...
No, Mr. Smith. And did you tell all the white children that they are racist? And colonizers and bigots, yeah.
Why do you guys not give a shit about what we have to say? Seriously. Why do you guys call the cops every single time I come in here to ask questions? Why is that? Why is it that you guys hit the panic button only because I want answers to my questions? I'm seriously curious about that because I've asked questions on almost every single issue, and you guys turn me away all the time. You're not supposed to be able to do that at all. That's why your cease and desist orders are bullshit. I wipe my ass with them.
We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We'll start with our first caller.
Good afternoon. My name is Judy Vaz. I'm the Public Affairs Manager at Planned Parenthood Action Fund of the Pacific Southwest. I would like to thank Karen Lawson-Mamer for introducing this important resolution. All people deserve access to safe and legal abortion, including abortion medication. 60% of abortions are done with medication. Our country has faced numerous attacks and bans on abortion care, and we must do everything we can to affirm our rights as individuals and expand reproductive health services, including abortion medication. I urge this board to vote yes on this resolution. Abortion is a safe and legal medical procedure. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next.
So bold. Given the alarming side effects of these medicines, we need a better alternative than just medicines. I pose this. The board letter and resolution should mention the importance of non-medicinal treatments. What did indigenous people and all do over the last centuries? This letter mentions mifepristone and misoprostol, and you need to look at reputable medical sources which list all of the side effects, not just a few. Mifepristone side effects: abdominal or stomach pain or uterine cramping, back pain, chest pain or discomfort, confusion, diarrhea, dizziness, fast weak pulse, fever, chills, headache, nausea or vomiting, heavy bleeding including blood clots, sour stomach, anxiety, belching, cough, fainting or lightheadedness when getting up from lying or sitting position, fever, flu-like symptoms, headache, heartburn, increased clear or white vaginal discharge, indigestion, itching of the vagina or genital area, lack or loss of strength, pain during sexual intercourse, pain or tenderness around the eyes and cheekbones, pain or discomfort in the arms, jaw, neck, or side, painful or difficult urination, pain, pale, cold or clammy skin, shaking, chills, stomach discomfort, upset, or pain, stuffy or runny nose, tightness of the chest, trouble sleeping, trouble breathing, unusual tiredness or weakness, shortness of breath, sudden increase in stomach or shoulder pain, sweating, unusual or large amount of vaginal bleeding. Misoprostol side effects, shivering, chills, diarrhea, abdominal.
Now hear from the next caller.
Kevin Stevenson. Isn't it interesting how every single freaking time that the word abortion is mentioned in an agenda item, all of the pro-forced birth lunatics come out and spew their crap about, oh, abortion is murder. Oh, what about the life of the baby? First off, not a baby. It's a fetus. A fetus. A fetus does not have brain power. It does not have feelings. It cannot feel pain, and it cannot live independent outside the womb. That's for starters. Second, I would like to point out that if you're genuinely pro-life and you're genuinely concerned about other people being killed, well, there's tens of thousands of dead civilians in Gaza right now that are being slaughtered on our taxpayer dime. So, but interestingly enough, I don't hear any of you right-wingers pointing that out. You're interestingly silent when it comes to brown people being murdered, actually murdered, like living people who are breathing and alive. Also, one thing I would just like to point out last time, just a reminder that last time this was up for a vote, Jim Desmond, my county supervisor, voted against it because he wants to run for Congress or some form of higher office someday and wants to run as a far-right lunatic. Look no further than his media tour on Newsmax and other right-wing outlets lately. So he's going to vote no on this, I already know, but we have the vote. Please pass this item because Prop 1 got 64% of the vote in 2022. San Diego County is pro-choice by a big margin. Do not let the fringe speak for the rest of us. They're crazy.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Julie Martinez. I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors for your bravery in presenting this because women deserve the right to choose their own destiny. In addition to that, they have the right to choose how they are medically treated. It should never be, abortion rights should never be politicized. It's a difficult decision for humans, parents, family members to make this decision. But the point is, it is their right and it is their decision. Pregnancy in itself is imperfect and various complications that threaten the health and well-being of the mother and fetus will arise. The United States currently possesses the highest rate of maternal mortality of high-income countries. The risk of dying from childbirth is high. Please do not allow fringe groups to impose their beliefs on women's right to health care and on women's right to choose their own path when determining their individual systems, ideas and systems for their own personal health care. Please allow this to pass. Please protect this very important medicine that does allow for a medically induced abortion. And again, thank you to the board for your bravery and for your concern for the constituents of San Diego County. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Escate. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors. I'm calling in support of item 29. I'm calling because medical abortion is incredibly safe and effective, offering women a reliable option to term pregnancies in a non-invasive manner. And I think that especially in light of what's happening in Arizona and all of the bans, I think it's incredibly important that we ensure access here, as our clinics are already going to be inundated if they aren't already. It's crucial to provide unrestricted access to this medication, especially as neighboring states strip away reproductive rights. With medical abortion, individuals can exercise their autonomy with decisions about their bodies without interference. By ensuring access to medical abortion, we uphold the fundamental right to reproductive freedom and protect women's health from harmful restrictions. It's imperative to champion abortion rights as an essential aspect of healthcare and bodily autonomy, especially in the face of regressive policies everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Hi, my name is Kat Tessero. I'm a community organizer at Planned Parenthood Action Fund of the Pacific Southwest. And firstly, I wanted to thank Vice Chair Lawson-Remer for bringing this to the Board of Supervisors again. I really don't think our electeds get thanked enough for the good work y'all do, and I'm shocked at every meeting how people treat all of you, so thank you. I'm calling in support of item 29. It is vital that we protect reproductive freedom and choice locally as we see what is happening nationally. With what is happening at the Supreme Court, the drug could become in higher demand, making it more difficult to obtain. While we have abortion in our Constitution thanks to Prop 1, that doesn't mean it is accessible to everyone who needs it, especially those who are rural, Black, and brown San Diegans. This is where access to medication abortion is necessary. This is a life-saving medication for pregnant people. This isn't a religious issue. This is a healthcare issue. I urge you to vote yes in support of ensuring continued access to medication abortion treatment for San Diegans. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hey, it's truth. How does anyone know if a fetus doesn't feel pain unless they are the fetus? That sounds like racist dehumanization of brown babies by fringe lunatics. Anyway, cringe, Tara's turning back the clock on this failed item because she couldn't stall her way out of it last time. I do appreciate that more information was added to back up what I said. For example, that the DOJ, Biden, and a private company, Danco, worked a conspiracy to push this baby-killing drug and, at times, pregnant woman-killing drug. Last year, Danco Labs paid out $765,000 with interest to the U.S. government. The federal lawsuit that alleged that from 2011 to 2019, they failed to properly label the drugs being made in China, skirting customs duties and checks. Then, just a couple of days later, Biden said that abortion-causing drugs need to be protected. Politicians are scared they'll lose their abortion pill when the money trail is all exposed. W. Brad Daniel, La Jolla-based Joseph Pye, who later pled guilty to a forgery charge, Greg Hopkins from Solomon Brothers, Biofarm Investments, Shiroyama LLC, and a million other front firms are involved. Even the generic beef-free-show maker, Gin BioPro, has a big contract agreement with Planned Parenthood Southeast because there's big money in murder. Beef Freestone goes back to the 1980s from the company Rousseau Cloth, who wanted it discontinued, but the French government forced its production. In 1994, the company then donated all rights to the drug to the Population Council, which was founded by John Rockefeller, a racist eugenicist, the same as racist Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. Population Council then gave it to New York-based Danco Labs, which only has a P.O. box and does not disclose any of its board members. Big investors are big profits. The company even had this drug approved via a secret meeting with the FDA. Real safe. And for the record, there's no such thing as a childbearing person. There's only pregnant women. So quit the discrimination and recognize women in all their childbearing glory. Thank you.
Again, Justin, you're disrupting the proceedings. I'll ask you to please stop. Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Hi, this is Samantha Schwimmer. Good afternoon, supervisors. I'm the chair of the board of the San Diego Coalition for Reproductive Justice, although today I'm speaking as an individual. I'm here today to urge the board to ensure continued access to medication-based abortion treatment for all San Diegans. As a trained abortion doula, I've seen firsthand the importance of safe access to abortion medication. This is especially true in parts of our county where folks don't live in close proximity to an abortion provider. Medication abortion allows people to have the right to safe abortions in the comfortable environment of their homes. With fewer side effects than Tylenol and Viagra, medication abortion is an essential reproductive health option. We know that when abortion access is restricted, this has the biggest impact on BIPOC, queer, and low-income communities, and taking steps to ensure a supply of mifepristone and misoprostol is in line with the county's commitment to equity. Beyond abortion care, mifepristone is also recommended by medical experts such as the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists as part of the superior medication treatment regimen for miscarriage care. With increasing restrictions on abortion care, we have seen an increasing need for reproductive care in our region, and I commend the board for taking this important step to protect abortion access in our county. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on this item. Again, as indicated at the start, this item is a reconsideration of an item that came before the board on April 9th, 2024. Under the board's rules of procedure, the board will first consider a motion to approve the reconsideration, which is recommendation 1 in the board letter. If there is a motion second and it is approved by majority vote, then the board may consider the remainder of the recommendations 2 through 4. At this time, is there a motion to approve the reconsideration of this item?
Happy to move.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, a second by Chairwoman Vargas. Please vote. Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes with Supervisor Anderson and Supervisors Desmond voting no, all other supervisors being present and voting aye. The board may now consider the recommendations 2 through 4. I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Lawson-Remer.
Thank you so much. Thank you to my colleagues for supporting the reconsideration. We are here today because just in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a near total abortion ban in Arizona, which will be devastating for individuals seeking reproductive health care and is going to have direct impacts to our state for those who now have to travel here to receive care. And in states where abortion is already outlawed, there are devastating impacts to individuals unable to access the medication and the care that they need. Sometimes resulting in hospitalization and, in the worst case, death. And that's why it is absolutely imperative that California and the County of San Diego double down to ensure that we help secure access to reproductive health care necessary for residents of our region and folks who may have to travel here from their home states. With this particular case regarding mifepristone, we are seeing right now in Washington FDA-approved courses of treatment being threatened by a conservative, right-wing Supreme Court with an anti-abortion agenda. Mifepristone has been on the market for over 20 years. It is widely used, it's safe, and it not only terminates early-stage pregnancy, but is also utilized often for those suffering pregnancy losses. If the Supreme Court rules, as we fear they might, this would impact states even like ours, such as California, and locally San Diego, because we would no longer be able to access these vital medications. And while the oral arguments seem hopeful in our case, we cannot be apathetic about reproductive rights and fighting for access to care for our residents. And so that is why I'm asking for my colleagues' support on this item being reintroduced today, so we can assure that all of our rights for those seeking reproductive health care continue to be secure within San Diego County. And with that, I would like to make a motion to approve the balance of the items on this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairwoman Vargas would like me to read her statement. As is coming up on the screen, it reads, as a 30-year champion of reproductive justice, I'm appalled that women's reproductive rights are being threatened every day. Abortion is health care. I'm saddened that in 2024, women are still having to fight for basic health care access. Access to medication-based abortion is fundamental to reproductive rights and health care. In recent years, we have seen a failure to protect reproductive rights, starting with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Extremists and politicized courts are threatening the right to bodily autonomy. No person besides the individual experiencing pregnancy should decide what happens with their body. Reproductive justice means individuals can make personal choices without interference or political manipulation. As a strong advocate for healthcare and reproductive justice, I am proud to support this item. I would like to second the motion to approve the item. Thank you. So with that, we have a motion by Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, seconded by Chairwoman Vargas. Please vote. Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes with Supervisors Anderson and Desmond voting no, all other supervisors being present and voting aye. We'll now move on to discussion item 21, a notice public hearing, an ordinance amending Article 20 of the San Diego County Administrative Code. If we could, we'll just pause for 1 minute, please. Resume with item 21. Again, this is entitled an ordinance amending Article 20 of the San Diego County Administrative Ordinance Code relating to San Diego County Emergency Medical Services fees. Now hand the floor to County team for a presentation.
Good evening, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. The Emergency Medical Services Office is the Board of Supervisors' designated local EMS agency, which provides high-quality, coordinated, data-driven, and readily accessible EMS system with patient-centered focus. There are several fee-based services within the EMS office that facilitate timely and equitable medical care from appropriately credentialed and trained personnel and support inspection of private ambulance vehicles and specialized hospital facilities. In order to keep pace with the cost of these services, the board is asked to consider two options for increasing fees. The proposed increases are a result of a time and cost study on all 8 existing EMS office fees with the addition of 1 fee. With me today is Jeff Collins, Director of County Fire, and Andy Parr, Emergency Medical Services Administrator, who will provide an overview of the proposed fee adjustments related to the EMS office. I'll now turn the presentation over to Andy.
Thank you, Holly. The current set of 8 fees within the EMS office impacts EMS personnel, private ambulance companies, continuing education providers, and designated specialty care hospitals. The EMS office credentials emergency medical technicians on behalf of the state, provides paramedic accreditation for medics who work in San Diego County, and authorizes nurses who work in base hospitals called mobile intensive care nurses. Each year, the EMS office receives approximately 5,000 EMS credential applications, reviewed by a team of 5 dedicated staff, usually completed within 3 business days. The EMS office responsibility is to assure that EMS personnel applications and renewals receive the appropriate review with the safety and health of the public as our highest priority. The pre-hospital standards team provides oversight of the private ambulance industry in San Diego County by annually permitting providers, both air and ground, and inspecting over 500 ambulances each year. Air ambulance permitting is one of the new fees being proposed. We currently conduct inspections without a charge for staff time. The county EMS office designates base station hospitals and trauma centers per statute. Base hospitals provide ambulance crews with direct physician access and consultation, receive patient notification, and offer first-line quality assurance. San Diego County EMS providers encounter approximately 250,000 calls a year, with that number split between the 7 base hospitals. The EMS office work includes quality assurance and quality improvement reviews, policy and protocol development, program coordination, meeting support and attendance, epidemiological data analysis, as well as hospital compliance with contractual statements of work. There are 7 base hospitals and 6 trauma centers in San Diego County. The EMS fees were increased in 2021 based on time and cost data from fiscal year 1920, with the EMS personnel fee increase being phased over a 3-year period. Changes to base hospital, trauma center, continuing education, and ambulance inspection fees were last done in 2022, again using a time and cost study from the 2021 data. In reviewing the current fees, we recognize that full cost recovery was not being achieved. The current annual fee revenue is approximately $1.1 million. However, the cost to provide these services is double that amount. In accordance with Board Policy B29, a comprehensive study was completed to fully capture the time spent on each service and the updated county salary and benefit costs. Based on the study, we have brought forward a fee package that adjusts all 8 fees and adds 1 new fee. The auditor and controller reviewed and approved the supporting documentation and methodology for the proposed fee adjustments. Since some of the fee adjustments were significant, we have presented 2 options. Option A approves the full increase, and Option B phases the increases over 3 years. With both options, we will return to the board each year with adjustments that reflect updated time and costs for each service. Should the board choose not to increase the fees, the EMS office programs will be supported by fees will remain partly funded with general purpose dollars, and a waiver of Board P29 will be required. In addition to the 9 fees included in today's board action, the county EMS office will also review other services that are provided to determine if it is suitable and reasonable to establish new fees. By reviewing other services and related costs, the county EMS office may return next year with additional new fees, which could further reduce the dependence on general purpose revenue. I'll now turn the presentation over to Jeff.
Thank you, Andy. Should the board approve option A, this chart details the fee increase for each service. The most substantial increases are being proposed to the permit application for private ambulance providers and the base hospital designation. 5 of the 7 base hospitals are also trauma centers, and it's important to recognize that trauma centers get funding from traffic and criminal penalty assessments, which is then used to pay for the costs of both designations. The continuing education provider fee is only collected once every 4 years, and the previous fee was being undercharged based on 1 year of staff time and the costs instead of 4 years. With option A, the revenue would increase from $1.1 million this year to approximately $2.3 million next year. In option A, we achieve full cost recovery and compliance with Board Policy B29 in fiscal year 24-25, and fees will be reviewed annually to stay in compliance. This chart for option B details the fee revisions for the first year. In option B, all 8 fees are increased in fiscal year 24-25, and all 9 fees will achieve full cost recovery after a 3-year phase-in. Achieving compliance with Board Policy B29 will be at the end of year 3. With option B, the revenue would increase from $1.1 million this year to approximately $1.6 million next year. Even with a phased approach, all EMS fees will be studied and adjusted annually. I'll now turn the presentation back over to Holly.
Thank you, Jeff. Today's request includes 2 options. In option A, the recommendations are as follows. Request the board to approve the introduction of option A ordinance amending sections of the San Diego County Administrative Code related to EMS fees. If the board takes actions as recommended, then on May 21st, 2024, the proposed ordinance will be brought back to the board for consideration and adoption. Option A would achieve full cost recovery and compliance with Board Policy B29 in fiscal year 24-25. Option B includes 2 recommendations. Waive Board Policy B29, which requires full cost recovery. The second recommendation is for the board to approve the introduction of option B ordinance amending sections of the San Diego County Administrative Code relating to EMS fees. If the board takes actions as recommended, then on May 21st, 2024, the proposed ordinance will be brought back to the board for consideration and adoption. Option B is the 3-year phased-in increase to the 8 existing fees plus 1 new fee to achieve full cost recovery and compliance with Board Policy B29 by the end of 3 years. And that concludes our presentation, subject to your questions.
Thank you. We'll now hear from individuals that requested to speak on item 21. We have 6 requests to speak on this item, 4 in person, 2 requesting to speak by phone. For any members of the public that requested to speak on item 21 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. All speakers are in opposition to this item. As your name is called, please come forward. Mark, allegedly Audra, Bryant Rumbaugh, and Gambler. If I've called your name, please come forward. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'll ask you to please state your name for the audio record.
Gambler here.
Thank you.
I'm fully aware that this is just a big waste of time. You guys aren't really paying attention to what we have to say. You don't want to address the concerns regarding the election or anything. Matter of fact, anytime I ask questions, you call the cops on me. I have a major issue with that. Humongous issue with that. But you guys are in charge, right? And it doesn't really matter anymore. So as soon as I could get access to all the homeless voters' signatures, I'm going to go ahead and compare them and see how many of them look identical. Then we're going to go ahead and figure out why that is. Because I know Michael Vu did his due diligence to make sure that voter fraud in a vote by mail.
Justin, I'm going to ask you to stay on topic. If you continue to stay off topic, it'll be disruptive.
Are you guys elected? Curiosity. Tara, are you elected? Are you elected? Yes or no? Are you elected? Yes or no?
Please, on topic.
On topic is everything that you are doing. You are not doing it for the people. You are doing it for your constituents. And that's what I'm trying to prove, that you are not abiding by the people. You are abiding by your lobbyists.
I want to remind you, you've had 2 warnings. If you receive a third, you'll be asked to leave the chamber.
For what? I'm not. Issue number 21, you guys are going to vote on it. You guys were voted in, correct? Elections. All this has to do with elections, correct? So if you guys don't want to take elections seriously, then what are we doing here? It's all a joke. You act as if it's a joke. You are on your phone 90% of the time. You don't pay attention to a word that fucking anyone says. Fucking cunt.
Next speaker, please.
All right, still Brian Rumbaugh. I am here to try to make a difference. I know at times it doesn't quite come out like that. You know, there is a lot of things that, let's just say, that I really can't necessarily talk about. But I am coming here because I do appreciate the fact of what America offered, and I do think that we do need to remain, let's just say, fiscally conservative. You know, I know the other item that we have where we were talking about the health and services, all their fees that are going to be bumped up, additional fees. You know, we're talking about solvency. They talked about that. You know, solvency is important. I definitely, the last time I talked to you guys about this, it was when it was previously read. You know, I told you that I was a big fan of essentially the volunteer fire department. You know, a responsible society. I mean, we kind of divulged into we're all part of a system here. Even the guy like me coming up here trying to say, hey, people, let's maybe reevaluate things and come up with a better solution. Nobody wants to come up here and beat the shit out of you people, okay? But it's our option, okay? And I don't try to do that, okay? And I do respect all of you. These are frustrating times, okay? I definitely can say that what you guys put up with, I get it. It's a lot. Jim has acknowledged that this system needs to be improved. I am wholly intentional in trying to get the message out on how we can do it. And it starts, what's so funny about it? Hey, we got to take the money out of politics. We got to create an engaged society. We got to learn to respect one another. We need to teach morality. Obviously, that's a lesson unlearned to a lot of people.
Next speaker, please.
My person uses the name Audra. It's really sad to see just the way things go. And, you know, it's like we just keep upping fees and hope that people can just afford medical care, which it's like, it's more death care, really. So, I mean, if they went out of business, it would be good. Because it's not about making people healthy or doing all these things. Everything is about control. And as long as we just keep upping the fees just to provide a service, you know, people aren't even, they're going to have to choose between what they can get and what they can't. And it's sad because it's like all you guys sitting up there on your dais, you don't have to worry about the same things that everybody else does that comes here and tries to talk to you guys. And it's sad because it's like if you could be in a position like that, you would understand. But because you're always up here, right? And then you got the people down here, you're always going to be looking down on them and never really standing level with them and having compassion for them and representing them. You guys don't represent the people. You represent yourselves and whoever you're doing the bidding for. And it's sad. That's why people come in here and they beg you. They shouldn't have to. And then you give them just a little bit and they think, oh, that's so great. But you could do way more. And if you were in a position like them, you would be like, let's do more. But instead it's like, we'll give you just enough to suffice you, to pacify you. And it's sad. And that's the only reason you should be on a level with everybody else. Because you're no better than us. You just act like it.
Thank you. Final call for Mark. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We'll start with our first caller.
It's Truth, back from Sandag. Last year, 3 EMS fees already went up. Now we got 8 fees going up. That'd be 3 going up again, plus a brand new fee, costing the people of the county $2.3 million more. Is this another blame inflation increase? Electricity goes up, water goes up, and now the price of receiving health care services is going up. Because when certifications and accreditations go up by $87, that means there's going to be fewer people who can afford to meet the qualifications required. And when ambulance applications go up by over $11,000, hospital designations go up by almost $50,000, and trauma center designations go up by over $20,000, these fee increases will inevitably be passed on to the people who require the services. How are people going to afford that? Because spreading fees or price increases doesn't actually help unless people start making a ton more money, and they're not. In order to avoid all the fee increases, I'm going to recommend cutting back on the services people don't need, such as providing epidemiological research, trend identification, and clinical effectiveness metrics, and linking pre-hospital data to the state of California and specialty care registries. That'd probably save a lot of money and offset any supposed required fee increases. What's interesting is that the cities that have left the county's EMS circle of control, Sandag, are doing much better. And they did it much faster. You know why? Local control. But that's something that you here at the county don't know anything about, as youth supervisors are always accepting those state and federal debt dollars in exchange for doing whatever they demand. And that disenfranchises people here of proper representation, leaving them with things they never asked for, such as these fee increases to receive basic medical services. So until government gets itself out of the hospital business, prices will continue to rise every year. But why is government in business? See the sustainability statement, quote, "This allows for ensuring the long-term solvency and fiscal stability of these and other county services," end quote. Nothing but business as usual. It's corporatized government. No thanks. I disapprove.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, that concludes public comment on this item.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Desmond?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Appreciate it. I spoke with a couple of hospitals in my district, and they understand the cost recovery and the fees going up, but they had asked me if I could support the recommendation B, instead of it all happening at once. For base hospital designation, the cost would go up almost 3 times, from $24,000 to almost $75,000. And so I'm going to put in a recommendation or make a motion for supporting item B, that we ramp this up over 3 years instead of doing it all in one shot. Thanks.
Thank you. I actually just have a couple questions. First of all, I appreciate and strongly support the move to full cost recovery. I think this is very wise, particularly when we're facing the kinds of trade-offs that we're facing, as has been evidenced by the votes we've had to take today. So I appreciate this. I think this is great. Just wanted to better understand why some of our items are such significant increases. There were just a few that jumped out at me, like the ambulance permit application, the continuing education provider, those two in particular that just were massively, seem to be massively undercharged compared to the actual cost?
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman. I can certainly address the questions. Specifically for the overall, I think we've done a more thorough job with capturing the amount of staff time with each one of these services that was done in previous studies. The EMS office came over to County Fire in 2021. 2022 was the first time that these fees came before the board under County Fire. Since then, we've done a rather thorough job in evaluating the amount of time and costs associated with each one of these services. In addition, the last time we did a complete study was based on 2019-2020 data. And so there's been a significant increase in the overall county costs since that time. But for the most part, it was related to fully capturing the amount of staff time that is associated with each one of these fees.
And in your outreach to hospitals and other users, did you hear any significant concerns?
We heard something that's similar to what Supervisor Desmond had heard, is the desire to spread this out over 3 years rather than all at once. But that was the most significant feedback that we got.
Were there any particular groups that were more vociferous in that regard?
My understanding is the Hospital Association sent in a request, I think it was early this morning, recommending for the option B, to spread this out. Tri-City, I'm aware, we had specific concern during the Emergency Medical Care Committee meeting. Representative from Tri-City was there. Tri-City is a base hospital, but is not a trauma center, so it does not receive the MADI funds. So for the base hospitals, 5 of our 7 base hospitals are also trauma centers. They receive funds that are essentially from fine and forfeiture money from certain vehicle and criminal incidents. And so that covers for the base hospital designation and the trauma centers, it covers 100% of the cost for them. Tri-City and Sharp Grossmont are not trauma centers, so they did not get that funding. So it is coming out of their, essentially their own pocket in order to pay for those fees.
That's helpful. I'd love to hear from my colleagues. I think my inclination is if there's specific users or entities that are specifically disadvantaged, I'd rather us move to full cost recovery across the board, and then ask you all to come back with some strategies to help out like the specific, and because as you mentioned, there's some that, can absorb this in other ways and it's covered, and then some like Tri-City where it's not. So my inclination would be for full cost recovery. I think that's the fiscally responsible thing to do kind of as an overall strategy, but then also ask you to identify if there's specific users or entities that are on which I would propose a specific hardship, and have a more targeted relief strategy for those instead of kind of just subsidizing across the board. But with that, I'm not going to make a substitute motion. I just first want to hear from my colleagues, and then we can kind of see where folks are at.
Just want to briefly, I'm inclined to support the motion on the floor, but I want to briefly ask from a staff perspective what what should we be aware of, intended and unintended consequences of that? How severe would they be, if they would be severe at all, to stagger and phase out?
So the fiscal impact to us is going to be less revenue coming into the county. And so instead of approximately 2.3 million next year, I believe it's going to be about 1.6 million. And so anytime that we're not getting full cost recovery, that is additional general funds or essentially existing general purpose dollars that we're using for the department. And so it's just a matter of phasing out those general purpose dollars over time versus all at once.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's all I have. I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can you please call the vote?
Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present voting aye.
Great, thank you so much. So we have a number of items remaining today on our agenda. I know our staff has had an exceedingly long day, so I am inclined to recess this and continue it tomorrow. Would that work for our county team? Fantastic. Okay, I will recess this and we will be back here tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we take it tomorrow, right? Yeah. No, well, everything, including non-agenda public comment, will be tomorrow. We're recessing till tomorrow morning. Thanks.
Board will reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to continue all of the items that are remaining from today's session, and then we'll continue with the land use session.
A basta. Seriously.
audio. Okay? So, can I switch? Okay. No, I can't. It's a quick answer. And that's kind of a problem. So, meeting will resume. So they're saying it's over. Okay. Glad they told me. I'm sitting here working on every other thing, right? And I didn't notice we lapsed. So, like, I was working on it because it's live, but it's ending. So, we're all done here. I'm going to end the stream. I should end it. Go to top. Type. Hold on. San Diego livedata.com. Right? And you go here and you can check out the live stream, the live streamers, check out the data, check out all the other stuff. You're right here, San Diego, and there's a bunch of everything. So, I know this is kind of taking a second to end, but I had to do my little show real quick for you guys. I appreciate Audra, I Had the Storm, Luke, Sly Waker, Sly Waker, Matt Baker. There's a Austin. There's tons of people. We could sit here for a while, but just want to give everybody a shout out. Kind of in control of everything right now, and trying to shut it down. Give me 1 second here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And today's date, 4/30/24. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.